Okay, guys, today I'm going to say some things that you're not supposed to say. I'm going to say the quiet things that people whisper about out loud because it needs to be said. And I'm going to show you something and explain something to you that most of you have no idea about unless you've heard me speak about it, but it's been about 6 months. I'm going to explain to you that the people that everyone in the world right now are looking at and not liking them at all because of the things that they are doing and the things that they're claiming they're doing. And people all around the world are, for the most part, rising up against them. Now, there's a history of that, okay? If you go back in time in history, you'll find out this. The Jewish expulsion history. Okay. Now understand that I'm not talking exactly about every Jewish person out there. As a matter of fact, I'm just not. I'll explain. But if we go back to 1290 out of England, by royal decree, they were kicked out of England in 1290 due to debt tensions, religious hostility, and crown consolidation of wealth. You notice that there's something to do with money, right? Something to do with money and something to do with debt tensions, which again has to do with money, and religious hostility, meaning that they were doing something hostile to other people that was in the religious realm. So they got kicked out of England in 1290. In France, in 1182, 1306, and 1394, they got kicked out of France for debt cancellation and religious pressure. Okay, again, going back to kind of the same two categories. Spain, 1492, religious uniformity and debt issues, suspicion of political infiltration, and they got kicked out of Spain in 1492. Portugal, 1497, they were forced out of Spain. Okay, and it says they were. It referred the research I could find was referring to that there was a forced conversion policy tied to alliance with Spain, and there was suspicion of banking manipulation. So they were telling them, you guys can't do what you're trying to do, and you're going to have to convert to our way of doing things, or you got to get out. And they were ran out of the country because they would not. Now, the Holy Roman Empire in various different regions kicked them out in the 14th and 15th century also. Says there was some blame of something to do with a Black Death, some kind of situation where people were dying and they were being blamed to have a hand in it. You know of anything going on right now where people are dying? And then look at who are behind the companies who actually are handing out those things. There's economic blames and claims as well, and religious tensions, the same stuff again. Austria, religious persecution again. Political consolidation due to political infiltration claims, meaning they were trying to take over the place, okay? They got kicked out of Austria in 1421 and in 1670. They don't give up very easy. Hungary, 1349 and 1360. Another plague reference. Okay. Another poisoning of the people going on. Okay. So They claimed that they were scapegoated into it, meaning we didn't do it, but yet everybody else was saying you did do it. You did have a hand in it. You owned all the pharmaceutical companies. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's now. Economic resentment also. So going back to the same things again, where they're infiltrating, they're causing or claimed to be being claimed that they're causing Black Death and a plague in different countries, trying to kill off and take over everything. Lithuania, 1495, political economic motives, infiltration claims, kicked out of Lithuania. Russia, or excuse me, there's a little bit more. It says Lithuania says various Italian states, multiple 15th and 16th century occasions, local political, economic, and religious, right back to the same things again. Russia, okay. Again, currency issues, group manipulation, and they were forced out of Russia in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Germany, most of us are only familiar with that one, where they were claimed, if you look up in a lot of places, they were the victim. And they claimed that they're the victim in every one of these situations, that they weren't causing Black Death. They weren't trying to infiltrate the political system. They weren't taking over the banking systems. They weren't doing any of that. They were the victim every time, including in Germany, because there were claims in Germany that the Jews had an agenda to take over the government and the monetary system only for their own enrichment. Claims that they wanted to control everything. Now, the Arab countries, okay, Egypt, now some of these names are going to sound real familiar. Egypt, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, Libya, where they're bombing some of these places right now, okay, trying to literally get back at these countries. And some of these countries have been taken over, destroyed in some ways, like Iraq, for instance, has been completely destroyed by the certain sect of claimed Jews that have taken over. They've infiltrated the monetary system in the United States. They've infiltrated the political system in the United States. They've infiltrated the medical system in the United States. They've infiltrated the commerce system in the United States. You see where this is going? Do you see what's happened all throughout time? Over and over and over. And every time they claim they're the victim. Now here's the twist this time. They know that we know. Okay? They know that we know. And what I see happening is that they are going to play the role of, which they're already doing. You can't say a lot of these words and stuff. They're playing the role of the victim again. But what they're going to do is they're going to make it look like they were kicked out. Okay? Appear to that they have been kicked out of the United States or other countries. I can already see it happening, that this is the role that they're playing. And then the problem is that in this case, at this time, in the country that they moved to after all these places they were kicked out, they moved to America, and they were also moved to the Palestinian lands that they put them into and then enforced it. They've gained so much power this time around, coming out of Germany and going into the period of now. They've got enough power where they're going to be able to claim that they were destroyed, make it look like they're being destroyed. Everybody's against us. And boom, one day they're claimed to be destroyed. The problem is they won't be destroyed. Now, there will be a lot of innocent people that are destroyed, some that are even Jews, some and various different types of people all around the world, okay? But they're going to claim it's going to look and it's going to appear like they were destroyed. And so this new freedom is going to be claimed to be rising away from all of this again. But first, we've got to burn everything down, right? Because we've got to get the parasites or the politicians, because a politician, poly means many, and titian is a reference to a tick or a parasite, many parasites. We've got to clean all that up first, or it at least has to appear to the majority of the people that they have been kicked out of another country, another group, but this time they've got so much power. The new organization that will be formed to be the new world order is going to be controlled by them still. Yet it's going to be played out like if they were expunged out of another country again. Finally, we got rid of them for good. No, that's not happening. The new system that they're going to roll out for us is going to be controlled by the same people that were kicked out of all these countries all these years for being responsible for banking manipulation, responsible for plagues and Black Death and all these kinds of things. And, all this same stuff is what they're going to use, but they're not actually going to be destroyed or kicked out. And I don't want death necessarily for anybody, okay? But we all know there has to be something done. And that's the thing, is that we all know there has to be something done. And they're going to play the script out as if something has been done, okay? Now, you wonder who these people are. Who are the ones that are claiming to be Jews but are not, okay? Probably the one, now we've all heard these words that you can see on the screen here, but this one here is probably the one that has the most power, the Chabad, okay? And they present themselves as a religious group, okay? Got freedom of religion in the United States, right? And it's kind of convenient, isn't it? And so they are the group of the most richest and influential people you're going to see in the world. And they control all of the players that are on the chess table, okay? The ones that are pulling the strings of power, these guys that wear these little funny little hats and have the long curly hair on the side, do that kind of stuff. These are the ones that are in control. The majority of the control.
And he has to like it. He said, "It's beautiful." And it's inscribed to you, and it also says two passages, one from the Bible, which says that it should be righteousness before God by you. The other one that says, we make...
They're going to play this out just as if they've been spotted again and kicked out, because there is a lot of people who know that there are people that are claiming to be Jews but are not truly, that have infiltrated the victim movement, you might say, and playing that victim, and they get kicked out over and over and over. But now they've gotten themselves to a point with enough of power, because a lot of people in the United States still have no clue. But I'm showing you here today who they are. This is their Chabad Torah truck that they use to drive around in to try to recruit young people. They need more soldiers, and they're trying to recruit any and all young people that they can, because you got to get them when they're young. And here's like a little bit of evidence of that people are aware. This is the Chabad headquarters in New York City.
Incredible video. The driver of what appears to be a black Honda Accord ramming his car into the building over and over, and look at this, over again. Now, this happened around 9 o'clock last night. There are no injuries reported, but just incredible video that you're seeing here.
Now, this is a little bit older, but it's just an example, okay? And, of course, they have even their own YouTube channels. They've got everything, reaching out to the children and reaching out to everybody, anybody who will listen, okay? But these are the types of people. But the biggest thing is I'm not trying to point the finger necessarily at any one group exactly. I'm trying to explain to you that it's going to be played out as to like if they've been run out, exposed. But they're behind that. You get it? They're going to expose their own selves, and then out of that, reclaim the power of everything. That's their intentions. I hope you see it, and I hope you support this work. There's not too many people brave enough to speak these things. I asked for y'all guys' support in my last video, and I got none. I'm going to ask again. I need your support. The links are below. Use them or not. It's up to you where this goes. It really is. It's up to us.